Hey guys, BananasFinest here, and welcome to another Apex Legends video. So I recently played a match where I was doing solo queue, and I was thrown in by myself. I don't know how this happened, but I somehow made it to top 3. And so today I'm just going to be talking about the things that I learned from this experience, and kind of how this can be applied to a 3-man squad. I think it's very important. Here's just kind of a clip of the final ending. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's jump back to the beginning of the match. Okay, also I apologize in advance that the quality is going to be a little bit lower than normal because I actually wasn't recording at the time of this game. I had to record it with the Xbox capture after the fact. Anyways, here's a clip of me at the beginning of the game taking out a 2-man squad by myself. Was very lucky here that it was only 2 people, as I was basically near death at the point. But anyways, so this is at the very beginning of the match. So I want to kind of preface this with, as I said, I was thrown into this match by myself. I was like, what the heck? I've never been put into a match by myself. You know, you're always in a squad. I almost quit out, but I was like, nah, I'll just, I'll warm up. I'll get into a gunfight just to see how far I can make it, right? So I only had a little bit of clips at the beginning there of me taking out that squad. But then I started recording later once I made it to 3 squads here. So let's start talking about what I kind of learned from this experience. I think it's very applicable and very powerful to overall improving your gameplay if you're really trying to make it to like the final squads. I understand some people just play this game, they want to get in fights and they don't really care where they end up. But if you're really trying to make it to the end and make the top 3, top 2, top spot, here are some things that I found that are very important. So that first encounter, there was actually a small firefight that had happened probably about 30 seconds prior to me taking out that 2-man squad. So this is really important. This is one of the biggest things that I learned from this experience was about timing, scavenging fights. I don't know if you might hear this term sometimes, but basically when you see people, don't always right away start shooting at them, especially if they're from a distance, right? You want to wait until you and your team are in a better position that you can, focus fire certain people, and a lot of times they might not even know that you're there. So for me, that's what was the case. Is I was creeping around on the rooftops, and I watched like 2 or 3 other squads going at it below me, and I knew if I started shooting, that they would know exactly where I was and focus fire me down. But I waited until almost all the squads killed each other, and then I hopped in and finished off the last people by myself. So that's something that's really important that you can also apply to your full squad. Is like if you're running around and you see a squad that's way off in the distance, like there's no need to just start popping shots off, because then they're instantly going to know where you and your squad are, and they might just start returning fire as well. But if you just wait and say, point out to your team, hey, there's people over there, then they're gonna go, okay, cool, let's get into a position. You can move up, you can flank them, you can get the drop on them, which is so important in this game, especially with how beefy characters are. Long range fights usually aren't the best idea, honestly, because you can just find cover, regenerate shields, whatever. You really want to be able to get up close and finish a team off quickly. So that being said, timing, positioning, extremely important. Waiting until you get like a lot of information before you make an engagement, if you can, is always good. So as you can see now, I'm literally just creeping around the edge of the map. I know that there's only 3 squads left, and this is another thing that's really important, is when you know that there are 3 squads left, this is a huge deal, because you want to get into a position where you and your team are able to take action as soon as you hear fire. And what I mean by that is, if you hear another fight going on like off in the distance when there's only 3 squads left, you know for a fact those are the 2 squads, they're fighting each other, and now is your chance to move in. Okay, unless you have like a really good position in the ring or something, I would always recommend running towards the fight when you hear those squads going at it. And that's what I do here, is I try to wait. I notice that the squads are fighting each other, and that's when I decide to make my move. This is because, I'm sure we've all experienced it, where we get picked off after, like whether we're in the middle of a fight or like right after a fight when we're low, and another squad just comes and picks us up. So that's really important. 3 squads left is a really good chance to make powerful moves. Okay, so yeah, as you can see here, I'm just kind of trying to gather as much information as I can. I saw a guy up on that ridge, but I'm not making any sort of moves yet because I know that I don't know where his team is. I don't know if they're right around the corner or not, so I'm trying to wait. I keep moving up on the edge of the circle, and I do hear him come up here. I hear his footsteps, and I am able to take him out. Now, I do go for the finisher here, not as like some sort of, insult or anything, but especially when they have a knockdown shield, I find that it draws less attention to yourself sometimes, and that instead of you trying to pump rounds into like a moving target or whatever, you can just do the finisher, not have to worry about it. Sometimes it's the right call, sometimes it's not. But anyways, as you can see, I'm moving up, still around the perimeter. I know that there's 2 squads left, besides me. And I know kind of where one of them is, and that's where I'm trying to head now. And so here's where I make my mistake, is I had my ultimate up, and I got kind of greedy, and I started firing with kind of an unstable gun, or not an unstable gun, but I wasn't able to control my shots very well, and I gave away my position, and I had to move in here into the base. So now, obviously, this team knows exactly where I am, and it's going to make things a lot more difficult for me. So now I've basically just reached the point where I'm in the circle, I'm in a good position, and I'm just going to wait for them to come to me. I throw some grenades out just in case they decide to make a move, but I'm still just kind of waiting. My ultimate isn't up, unfortunately, which is a bummer, and I do get pushed up a little bit by the circle here, but grenades are a really big thing too, especially thermite grenades. In a situation like this, you can throw them down to cover multiple entrances, make your life a little bit easier, which is exactly what I do here. Yeah, so unfortunately, a small spoiler alert, I do not actually make it past top 3. I am able to take down one member of this squad here and almost take down the second, but I do get picked off, which is a bummer, but I made it a lot farther than I thought, and like I said, I actually learned a lot from this match. So anyways, I hope that this was helpful, just some tips on ways that you and your squad can play smarter and last longer in Apex Legends. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.